Today we uncover the shocking truth about UK pasta products, the stuff that's sitting in millions of British cupboards right now. The stuff that gets boiled up on a Tuesday night and served to families who genuinely believe they're eating something wholesome and simple. Durum wheat semolina and water. 2 ingredients. How bad could it possibly be? Pretty bad, as it turns out. One of the brands we're covering today was taken over by a Swiss corporation, and within years, their factory abroad was linked to a serious E. coli outbreak that harmed dozens of children. The company had been marketing itself at the time on what they called Tuscan greatness found in the details of everything we do. Another brand we're covering today puts sodium nitrite into what they're selling as fresh Italian pasta. Not once, twice. That's the same preservative that the World Health Organization's cancer research body has classified as a probable health risk in processed meats, and it's hiding inside something that looks like an upmarket chilled dinner. One brand microwaves in 75 seconds and requires an industrial emulsifier just to stop its pre-cooked pasta from fusing into a solid mass during its shelf life. Another brand successfully lobbied to have its product certified as one of your 5 a day despite containing added sugar and industrial starch thickeners. Heart specialists were reportedly appalled when that decision came through. And one brand, in one of the most brazen marketing moves in food history, charges premium prices by invoking over a century of Italian artisan tradition while actually cutting their pasta with Teflon-coated machinery because it's cheaper and faster to run. This is the pasta aisle, and it is not what it looks like. So we've gone through the major brands currently sold in UK supermarkets and will expose the 8 pasta products you need to know about and seriously reconsider. Then I'll tell you the handful that are actually still worth buying, and they might surprise you because some of them are cheaper than what you're probably already putting in your trolley. Before we get into it, I want to ask you something. If you've ever stood in a supermarket pasta aisle and felt like every box looked basically the same, like you were choosing between identical products at slightly different prices, then this video is going to change how you see that aisle forever. And if that matters to you, if you think people deserve to actually know what's in their food and how it's made, then hit the hype button on this video. And it's one of the most powerful things you can do to help a video reach people who need to see it. Every time someone hits it, YouTube takes notice. It pushes this kind of content in front of more people. It's not just supporting a video, it's pushing back against the idea that corporations can quietly cut corners in your food for decades, and nobody will notice. Hit the hype button. Leave a like while you're at it. And let's get into it. Number 8. Tesco Quick Cook Spaghetti. We're starting here because this product represents the most quietly dishonest thing happening in the UK pasta aisle right now, and it does it with just one ingredient: durum wheat semolina. That's it. That's all it says on the packet, and if you didn't know what to look for, you'd assume this was perfectly standard pasta, same ingredient as any traditional Italian spaghetti. So why does it cook in 3 to 5 minutes when proper Italian spaghetti takes 9 to 12? Here's what they don't put on the packet. Traditional pasta is dried slowly at temperatures below 40 degrees Celsius, over a process that can take anywhere from 24 to 50 hours. That slow drying is what builds the internal structure of the pasta. It preserves the protein network in the wheat, keeps the starches stable, and creates a product that holds its shape, grips sauce, and has something resembling an actual flavor. Tesco's Quick Cook version goes through industrial dryers at temperatures exceeding 100 degrees Celsius. The whole process is compressed into a matter of hours. The intense heat burns the sugars in the wheat, which is why budget quick cook pasta looks that deep, almost fluorescent yellow in the packet, whereas quality pasta looks pale and dusty and almost beige in color. That yellow isn't richness, that's damage. And when you cook it, the consequences are obvious. The water goes cloudy almost immediately because the pasta is breaking down rather than cooking. The outside turns mushy while the inside is still chalky and hard. Then within about 60 seconds of the outside softening, the whole thing collapses. There's almost no window of proper texture. And because the surface was extruded through Teflon-coated machinery and dried at industrial speed, it's smooth and sealed. Sauce doesn't cling to it. It just slides to the bottom of the bowl. Here's the part that genuinely irritates us. Tesco's own website describes this spaghetti as being produced in Campania, the region considered to be the traditional home of Italian pasta. They're invoking the most prestigious pasta-producing region in the world to sell you pasta engineered for maximum speed. They kept the Italian postcode. They abandoned the Italian patience. Number 7. Barilla is the largest pasta manufacturer in the world. Their blue boxes are on the shelves of pretty much every major UK supermarket, and for a lot of British shoppers, Barilla is the reference point. It's the pasta that other pasta gets compared to, which is a problem, because it means Barilla's industrial output has quietly become most people's idea of what pasta is supposed to taste like. And it's not a high bar. The standard Barilla range is extruded through Teflon-coated dies. The Teflon creates a smooth, sealed surface on every strand. Sauce doesn't grip it. It slides straight off and pools at the bottom of the bowl. What's particularly telling is that Barilla's own executive chef has publicly confirmed that bronze dye production creates better sauce absorption, starchier pasta water, and a surface that actually binds with sauce properly. He said all of that to justify their newer premium Al Bronzo line. So the company knows exactly what the difference is. They've known for a long time. And yet the standard range that sits at the mainstream price point still uses Teflon, because Teflon dyes are cheaper, faster, and last longer. That's the calculation being made. Then there's how the wheat is sourced. Barilla pulls durum wheat from multiple countries depending on availability and commodity prices. Quality is managed through industrial blending and processing rather than through any careful control at the agricultural level. The result is a pasta that's engineered for consistency and broad appeal rather than for flavor or texture. It won't be terrible, it just won't be good either. And when a brand producing nearly 2 million tons of pasta annually becomes everyone's baseline, the entire conversation about what pasta is supposed to be gets dragged down with it. Number 6. Buitoni. This one is genuinely a story about what happens when a corporation takes ownership of something beautiful and slowly hollows it out. Buitoni was founded in 1827 in San Sepolcro in Tuscany. The story goes that founder Giulia Buitoni traded her own necklace to buy a pasta-making machine and started a small shop. The brand earned international recognition at major expositions in the 1890s. Nearly 2 centuries of family heritage, genuine Italian provenance, and a reputation built on quality. Then the Buitoni family sold the company in 1985. By 1988, it had been acquired by Nestlé. And over the following decades, what had been an artisan pasta brand became a line item in the portfolio of the world's largest food corporation. The romance of the branding stayed, the Tuscan heritage language stayed, but the company's own internal assessments have reportedly shown that a significant proportion of Nestlé's food portfolio fails to meet basic nutritional health standards. In 2022, Nestlé chose not to renew the license for the Buitoni brand name for dry pasta production in Italy. After almost 2 centuries, the brand's history in its home country effectively ended. And also in 2022, a Nestlé-operated Buitoni factory in Caudry, France, was linked to a serious E. coli outbreak affecting dozens of children across France. Authorities described the facility as having what they called a degraded level of food hygiene control. The Paris prosecutor reportedly opened an investigation on multiple charges. Multiple Buitoni products were recalled. The company had been marketing itself at the time on Tuscan greatness and careful attention to detail. Longevity doesn't guarantee quality, it just means a brand has succeeded at staying familiar. And Buitoni is the proof of that. Number 5. La Famiglia Rana butternut squash, roasted onion and sage ravioli. This is the product that represents what we'd call the premium fresh pasta deception, and it plays out in 2 separate ways. The first is about the filling. The second is about the word fresh. Let's start with the filling. The product is called butternut squash, roasted onion, and sage ravioli. Those are the 3 things the name is selling you on. According to the verified ingredient panel on the Tesco product listing, the sage content in this filling is 1%. The roasted onion is 0.4%. The filling itself also contains breadcrumbs, cornstarch, vegetable fibers made from corn and wheat, lactose, and what's listed as natural flavorings. Breadcrumbs aren't in there for flavor. They're a structural binder that adds bulk to the filling at low cost. Cornstarch and vegetable fibers are industrial thickening agents. The brand's own marketing says their pasta parcels are filled with carefully selected vibrant ingredients that are, in their words, chopped, never blitzed. Chopped, never blitzed, but also thickened, bulked, and stabilized with multiple industrial agents. Now for the second part. Rana positions itself as premium fresh Italian pasta. The packaging shows rustic imagery, the founder's face, warm family heritage language. True fresh pasta, made that morning in an Italian kitchen, lasts 1 to 2 days maximum. It spoils quickly because it contains no preservatives and hasn't been treated for shelf stability. Rana products sold in UK supermarkets have shelf lives measured in weeks, sometimes over a month. That's only possible through pasteurization, modified atmospheric packaging, and industrial formulation specifically designed to survive conditions that would destroy genuine fresh pasta. The company produces product at a scale of tens of thousands of kilograms per hour in automated facilities. It isn't a grandmother rolling dough, it's mass manufacturing with a heritage costume on top. You're paying £3 to £4 for 250 grams. Part of what you're paying for is the grandfather's face on the packet. Number 4. Dolmio Pronto Microwave Pasta Pouches. Real pasta has 2 ingredients, durum wheat semolina and water. That's it. That's all pasta needs to be. Dolmio Pronto has more requirements than that just to hold its shape on a shelf. According to the verified ingredient panel, the plain pasta pouch version of Dolmio Pronto contains cooked fusilli pasta, and within that pasta, water, durum wheat semolina, and an emulsifier listed as mono and diglycerides of fatty acids. Then sunflower oil and a second emulsifier, sunflower lecithin. The pasta needs 2 emulsifiers because it's been pre-cooked and then packaged for ambient shelf storage. Without them, it would fuse into one solid mass. Mono and diglycerides of fatty acids are the same class of industrial fat-derived additive you'd find in margarine. They're in the pasta not to improve flavor or nutrition, but purely to keep a structurally compromised product from falling apart. The sauce version adds modified cornstarch, yeast extract, sugar, and a color derived from paprika extract. This is a Nova Group 4 ultra-processed product by any standard classification system. And it's marketed by Dolmio, a brand owned by Mars, the same Mars that makes chocolate bars and confectionery. Their marketing talks about big-hearted meals that bring loved ones together. The actual product is pre-cooked emulsified pasta in a plastic pouch that microwaves in 75 seconds. Here's the thing that really puts it in perspective. Dried pasta cooks in 10 to 12 minutes. If you genuinely cannot find 12 minutes to boil water and cook pasta, you have bigger problems than dinner prep. What Dolmio Pronto offers isn't really convenience, it's pasta that's been pre-destroyed and then rehydrated for you. Number 3. Tesco Spinach and Ricotta Fresh Tortelloni. We're now into the part of this list where the products are actively pretending to be something they're not. This one looks like a simple, wholesome, fresh pasta dinner. Fresh egg pasta made in Italy by a family-run business, filled with spinach and ricotta. The packaging says all of that. So let's look at what the filling actually contains, because Tesco's own product listing tells us the verified ingredients show that the ricotta content in the filling is 15%. The spinach is 13%. Then comes wheat flour, then dried potato, then medium-fat hard cheese, then dried skimmed milk, then butter, then salt, then wheat fiber, then onion, olive oil, chicory fiber, nutmeg, black pepper, yeast, and garlic. Dried potato is a filler. It's cheap, it adds bulk, and it has no flavor contribution to a spinach and ricotta dish. Chicory fiber is an industrial bulking agent derived from chicory root, the kind of ingredient food technologists use to extend volume without significantly adding cost. Wheat fiber is similarly there to add structure that the filling lacks on its own. A traditional Italian cook making spinach and ricotta filling for pasta would use fresh ricotta, cooked spinach, a little nutmeg, maybe some Parmigiano. 4 ingredients, perhaps 5. What Tesco is wrapping in their family-run Italian business, fresh pasta, is a 15-ingredient filling in which the 2 headline components are at 15 and 13% respectively, with dried potato and industrial fibers making up the difference. The irony of calling it a family recipe isn't lost on us. Number 2. Tesco Italian sausage and ham tortelloni. If the spinach and ricotta version is about dilution, this one is about something more pointed, because buried inside what gets sold as a fresh Italian pasta dinner, there are 2 separate uses of a preservative that the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer has classified as a probable health concern in processed meat products. The verified ingredient panel from Tesco's own product listing shows Italian sausage at 9% and smoked ham at 4%. Combined, the 2 things this product is named after make up approximately 13% of what's actually in the packet. The Italian sausage ingredient declaration includes pork, salt, wheat flour, spices, and curing salt listed as sodium nitrite. The smoked ham ingredient declaration includes pork, salt, dextrose spices, sucrose, an antioxidant, and again curing salt listed as sodium nitrite. 2 separate processed meat components, each containing the same preservative. The filling also contains palm oil, not butter. Palm oil, it's a cheap industrial fat used to mimic the mouthfeel of butter and cream at a fraction of the cost. Then dried potato again, because it wouldn't be a Tesco tortelloni without it. And provolone listed at 2%, which gives you a sense of how far down the priority list actual quality ingredients sit relative to the structural fillers. A proper meat-filled tortellino from Emilia-Romagna would contain pork loin, prosciutto crudo, mortadella, Parmigiano Reggiano, egg, and nutmeg, named quality cuts of real meat. No preservatives, no palm oil, no potato starch. What Tesco is selling at a premium chilled price point is a small amount of preservative-cured processed meat padded out with industrial filler inside a pasta parcel, and it costs more than a bag of Docheco. Number 1. Heinz tin spaghetti in tomato sauce. We've saved this one for last, not because it's the most sophisticated deception on the list, but because it might be the most deeply embedded one. This product has been in British cupboards since 1926. Generations of people grew up eating it. It's nostalgic, it's familiar, and it's a genuine abomination compared to what pasta is actually supposed to be. Let's go through the verified ingredients from the Tesco product listing. The spaghetti itself accounts for 47% of the tin. It's made from water, durum wheat semolina, and then plain wheat flour, which is softer and lower in protein than semolina and has no place in proper pasta. That plain wheat flour has then had calcium, iron, niacin, and thiamine added back into it. The vitamins are being added back because the processing stripped them out in the first place. The fortification is an admission that the base ingredient isn't good enough on its own. Then there's the sauce. Tomatoes at 44%, water, and then sugar. Sugar is in a savory tomato pasta product because industrial tomatoes processed at scale lack the natural sweetness of properly ripened fruit, and sugar covers the gap. Then modified corn flour, which is an industrial thickener that gives the sauce a texture it wouldn't have naturally. Then citric acid. Then herb extract, garlic salt, and spice extract. The pasta in this tin has been pre-cooked before it was sealed. That means by the time it reaches you and you heat it up, it's been cooked twice. That's why the texture is what it is. That characteristic softness, that slight collapse when you put a fork through it, that's not how pasta is supposed to behave. That's the texture of something that's been through 2 separate cooking processes. And then there's the 5-a-day situation. Heinz successfully lobbied to have this product certified as contributing to one of your 5-a-day portions of fruit and vegetables. The logic was that the tomato sauce contains antioxidants equivalent to a portion of tomato. Heart disease specialists were reportedly appalled. The certification conveniently ignores the added sugar, the modified corn flour, the twice-cooked pasta, and the fact that a tin of ultra-processed food was being certified as nutritionally equivalent to a vegetable. Heinz tin spaghetti has been on British shelves for nearly a century, And in that time, the marketing has only got more sophisticated, while the product has stayed exactly the same. Now let's talk about what you should actually be buying. Identifying quality pasta on a supermarket shelf isn't complicated once you know what to look for. The color should be pale and slightly dusty, almost beige, not deep yellow or bright. The surface through the packet should look slightly rough and almost sandy. If it looks smooth and shiny, that's a Teflon extruded product. Check the protein content on the nutrition label. 13 to 14 grams per 100 grams is what you're looking for. Quality pasta uses high-protein durum wheat that holds its structure, grips sauce, and doesn't go mushy. Below 12 grams is generally a sign of inferior grain. And look for either made in Italy with full provenance detail or a specific production certification like Pasta di Gragnano PGI, which is a legally protected designation of origin. Product of Italy doesn't mean the same thing and can legally cover pasta made from wheat sourced from almost anywhere. Keep all of that in mind, and the aisle becomes a lot easier to read. First, De Cecco. This is the benchmark. De Cecco has been using bronze die extrusion since 1886, which predates Teflon by several decades. Their founder, Filippo De Cecco, developed a slow-drying method in 1889 that was considered significant enough to be documented in the Italian encyclopedia Treccani. The pasta is made using water sourced from the Magella Mountains in Abruzzo, and the protein content sits at 14 grams per 100 grams. When you cook it, the water stays relatively clear because the pasta is holding itself together rather than shedding starch into the pot. The surface is rough and porous and actually grips sauce, and it holds its al dente texture with far more forgiveness than anything on the avoid list. It's available in Tesco, Sainsbury's, Waitrose, and Ocado. The full price is usually around £1.65 to £2 for 500 grams, but it goes on Clubcard and Nectar offer regularly and can drop to around £1.35. That's the time to stock up. The difference between De Cecco and a budget pasta works out to about 16 pence per person per meal. That's what we're talking about. Second, Rummo. Rummo is made in Benevento in Campania using what the brand calls lenta lavorazione, which translates roughly as slow working. It's a process of slow bronze die extrusion followed by extended low-temperature drying, and the result is a pasta with a protein content of 14.5 grams per 100 grams, one of the highest of any pasta available in UK supermarkets. What this means practically is that Rummo holds its al dente texture even if you slightly overcook it. That's not a small thing. Most pasta has a window of maybe 60 to 90 seconds between properly cooked and soft. Rummo is genuinely forgiving in a way that reflects the quality of the raw material and the integrity of the process. There's also a story behind this brand that's worth knowing. In 2015, catastrophic flooding nearly destroyed the entire Rummo facility in Benevento. Rather than abandoning the brand, Italian customers began buying Rummo products specifically to support the rebuild, and the company came back completely. It's available in Waitrose and Ocado and through specialist retailers like Sous Chef. Third, Sainsbury's Taste the Difference Bucatini. This one might surprise people, and it's the entry on this list that most directly exposes what the supermarkets are capable of when they choose to try. The Sainsbury's Taste the Difference pasta range is produced in Gragnano, which is the town in southern Italy that holds a protected geographical indication certificate specifically for its pasta. That PGI status is a legally protected designation. It means the pasta has to be produced there using specific methods and ingredients. The Taste the Difference Bucatini is bronze die-shaped, made from 100% durum wheat semolina, and packed using Italian wheat. It costs around £2 for 500 grams. Here's the thing. Sainsbury's sells this pasta in the same aisle as its budget range, the same supermarket. The price difference between the two is around £1.40 per 500-gram pack. The better pasta is right there. It always has been. Fourth, Napolina is the UK's #1 pasta brand by volume, which means it's in more British cupboards than probably any other pasta on this list. Their standard range is perfectly average, and we're not going to pretend otherwise. But their bronze die range is genuinely good, and the reason it earns a place here is specifically because of where it's available. You can find Napolina bronze die in Tesco, Sainsbury's, Asda, and Morrison's. Not in a specialist shop, not online only. In the same supermarket where someone is currently reaching past it to grab the Morrison's own brand bag. Look for the words bronze die on the packaging. That's the one. It's made in Italy from 100% durum wheat. The surface is noticeably rougher than the standard range, and it behaves like pasta is supposed to behave in the pot. It's usually around £1.80 to £2.20 for 500 grams. The brand was founded in 1965 by an Italian man named Marino Iandiorio, who literally wanted to bring the taste of Naples to British tables. Despite having its UK headquarters in Liverpool, all Napolina pasta is made in Italy. The name means Little Naples. It's not a complicated story, but it's an honest one. Pasta isn't complicated. It's 2 ingredients, it's a craft that took centuries to develop and a few decades of industrial shortcuts to degrade. The good news is that the products that do it properly are sitting on the same shelves as everything on the avoid list. They cost a little more, not much more. And quality wheat has a flavour that industrial pasta has genuinely trained us to forget exists. Once you taste it in pasta that was made properly, you'll understand what the difference actually is, and the avoid list will start to look very different to you. If this video changed how you're going to look at the pasta aisle, hit that hype button. It's directly below the like button, and hitting it is one of the most effective things you can do to help this video reach more people. We want this information in front of as many British shoppers as possible, because the more people who know, the harder it becomes for companies to keep cutting these corners. Hit the hype button, leave a like, and drop a comment telling us which food you think we should cover next, because we're going to keep doing exactly this. Until next time, stay informed, stay curious, and protect your plate.